Welcome. You join me, Jordan Brown and Steve Oliver, both based here in Dicklebeng Church in Clarence. Now I've been asked to just interview Steve for just a short while and ask him a few questions about what's going on in his life and the life of Regions Beyond at the moment. So Steve, you've been back now for 2 years since COVID, trapped here in the lockdown when you first came back. So how have those past 2 years been for you?
Well, it was a massive change. What we thought would take a few weeks turned out to be a few months. And then for all of us, I think it became quite clear that the COVID season was going to be prolonged. And so it was quite easy then to make the decision, and a massive change. But I think that goes for everybody. So for us, suddenly realizing that we were back in Southern Africa after being in the Middle East and then the UK, was a big change. I think the COVID season gave us time to adjust, but now as we are coming out of it, I can see the wisdom of God in it, because so many things are opening up. And I'm not sure they would have had we not returned. So it's been a big adjustment. It really has been, and continues to be in many ways.
So coming out of COVID, like you said, things are starting to slowly open up. What's your dream for Regions Beyond in this next season, post-COVID, and into this new era that we know so much about?
Yeah, obviously the new era is the thing that has fueled me and caught my attention. Going into COVID, living through it, one realized that the church was going to be changed quite considerably. And one of the things that I personally lived with was trying to understand what those changes would be, which were the changes that God was looking for. And we have had some understanding, which has been brilliant. But now coming out, I think the big challenge for all of us is not go back to old habits, but to say, Lord, what is it you want to change? And we're starting to see the fruit of some of the changes we had. So I think some of the changes, we foresaw. So things like discipleship of all believers, not so front-led, kingdom ministry, being a lot more active in our community than just doing Sunday after Sunday meetings, or whichever day you meet on. And these are the things that we're starting to see some real fruit. I think the key for us, my biggest dream is, let's learn the lessons and put them into practice. And I think I can confidently say that those who are embracing the changes are seeing the fruit. And I believe God's looking for acts of faith. And when we do, there's great reward. So it's an exciting season. But my dream is, let's lay hold of all God wants.
So you've answered a little bit of my last question, but maybe if you could give some advice to sort of church members and church leaders in this post-COVID time, as everything's starting to sort of go back to normal, what would be your sort of one piece of advice coming out of COVID?
I think one of the impacts of COVID is that we've seen a real decline in the activation of the gifts in the church. And I'm not talking just spiritual gifts, I'm talking people gifts. And so we find that there's a great shortage of leaders, of skilled people, of those who've been trained and equipped, which is affecting us on lots of different fronts, like church planting or bringing through leaders. And so I think that some of the lessons, some of the key things is training. I believe we've got to put a lot of effort into equipping our people. And I think that for me, what has changed is that the scope of the training and what we bring people in, we used to be quite confined to, we want to train them to be that type of leader or an elder or whatever. I think what's changed for me is we want to see everybody trained. So the whole church activated and seeing the whole church functioning in different places. And so you've seen it here that we have just got so many people involved now, whereas it often was the leadership with an audience.
Yeah.
I don't feel it's that. We're going through that change, so that's a very big one for us. And I'm really encouraging others to lay hold of that and understand the need to bring them through. Another one is just real obedience to the purposes of God, and being willing to take steps of faith, or activate faith. Our own situation here, where we've not seen people saved for so long, and just that activating that faith, that asking God, Lord, this year would you give us 100? And the grace has been poured out, as we've seen week after week, just people being saved. And you think, we don't deserve this harvest we're getting, but it just feels like God's rewarding us for faith. So, it's exciting. Yeah. And it's good to see.
Well, thank you, Steve. Thank you for your time. I hope you've been as encouraged as I have with the answers to the questions, and where God seems to be leading us in this time out of COVID into this new season and this new era. So thank you for joining us, and we'll see you soon somewhere in the world, I'm sure. Bye for now.